So this is the second part of the ClutterBase thing, and what I've done is I've just sketched down in Markdown a few of the ideas of what I want to do. So let's start with the design and the rationale. So it's a portable tool. It should work across all platforms, and in this case I'm going to concentrate on developing on my Mac first, then move to Linux, which generally is a fairly easy thing to do. Then we'll look at getting it working in Windows, which just has a few issues just because of the back-end OS stuff. It's going to be usable in all DCCs. To start with, I'm going to concentrate on Maya, and then we will add Houdini, and hopefully we'll add a few things like Blender and a few other tools as well. We're going to create a fairly simple schema stroke file format. In fact, most probably won't use a file format at all. I think I'm going to do virtually everything within MySQL, but we may have a file format for a few other bits and pieces, we'll see. It's going to be standalone using PyQt as well as integrated into the DCC tools. And the reason for this is if I start writing a few command line tools, standalone things, that makes the test-driven development, which I'm going to use, easier, and also the behavior-driven development for once we've got the UI and other things, so that will work well. So I've broken this down into a series of steps of how I'm going to approach it. So step one, we're going to design the database and the schema. We're going to build a simple demo using scripts and assets. So I might just get some online assets, Pixar, have a nice kitchen one and things like that. I'm going to look at which file formats to support. I think to start with, OBJ is nice and simple. Then I think we'll add FBX and USD, and we could use libasync for various bits and pieces to this. There is another alternative where we could create lowest common denominator file formats which the DCCs could use. Again, I may think about doing that. It's fairly easy to do, and to be honest, this is all about meshes. So the bare minimum is going to be vertices, UVs, and faces. That's it. So we could create our own file format. So again, as things evolve, we'll see what happens. This is very much using the approach of you ain't going to need it. So we're going to build it, we're going to get it working, we'll go back and keep developing. We need to look at data sizes and things like that. We're going to add some images and search queries. I've got a tool already written which does some nice snapshotting stuff, which we'll look at as part of this. Once we've got the sort of basic database built, we can start building a standalone tool. So we can use PyQt, PySide. Most probably we'll just stick with PySide because PySide is what the DCC tools use, but we may look at the difference between the two. So we'll start simple, create a new DB, add some simple assets with command line tools and so on. Then we'll integrate this into Maya, start building the UI. Then we'll integrate it into maybe Houdini, then into Blender and perhaps Nuke, we'll see. So that's the sort of basic process. So the next steps we're going to look at is setting up a basic project, setting up and deciding upon the versions of software and tools that we're going to use, and then we'll build it from there.